Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of A Slant Eye View with two sides of cauliflower. A lot happened this past week as far as the pugilistic arts go. Rajadamnern in particular had several big time fights this past week that I'll be going over, and not to mention last night there was lots of MMA. I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. That's kind of the reason why I'm a little bit out of it. I haven't slept that much. I mean, I have, but throws me all out of whack when I stay up that late to watch fights. Anyhow, first thing I want to get out of the way is my main man saying to me, lost on, I think, on some kind of bullshit. But who am I? I'm not a Thai. That's who I am. But yeah, he lost to Yaglek just the other day, and I thought he was doing his usual technical acumen. Although Yaglek was definitely tough and hanging in, and it was a very close fight going into the fourth round. Yaglek caught him with a real nice diagonal elbow over the top. Saying to me appeared to eat it just fine, then went to return a kick, slipped off his plant foot. And I guess because he got up slowly, they gave him an 8 count. And that definitely cost him the fight. There's no doubt about Yaglek getting that bout after that particular event. And then afterwards there was a video with I come to find out Saenchai's parents talking about what happened or whatever. I don't know. I would like to see those two fight again before the year's over. It would be real nice if they fought again, say around May or June. That's a hint to you promoters out there in Bangkok, like they're really watching. Then also we saw Saenchai, the legend, probably fight his last fight in Bangkok, if I had to guess. He fought Pechmorakat Pechindi, Pechindi Academy. Anyhow, he had his moments. He had a couple of nice little trips where he still looked kind of slick. But he's definitely in the twilight of his career. And Pechmorakat is definitely a guy that's not quite at his peak yet, but is on the upswing for sure. Won't be long, and I imagine that he might start main eventing at the big stadiums. He's like just under the main event status right now. And this performance might push him into main event status. We'll see. Because he definitely was the aggressor throughout the fight, landed a lot. He kind of lumped Saenchai up a little bit. Lots of elbows, lots of knees. Dude is really good at using his length, and he's especially long for his weight class. So I wasn't surprised, even though he came in the blue corner, which means he's technically the underdog going into the fight. I thought he should have been the favorite going into the fight, but I'm not a gambler, although maybe I should start. Who knows? I'm going to be using my cheat sheet a lot because, man, like I said, there's a lot that went on, especially at Rajadamnern. On that same card with Saenchai and Pechmorakat Pechindi Academy was Simuan Sitchef-Buntam versus Boakyu Sitsongpino. A champion versus champion fight. I don't know which one's the Lumpini champion, which one's the Rajadamnern champion. But they fought at Rajadamnern. I don't believe any belts were on the line. But Simuan Sitchef-Buntam got the elbow knockout from the clinch. They were fighting for arm, hand position, hooks, whatever you want to call it. And then just very slickly from the bicep grip, pow! Diagonal elbow over the top. It was very well executed. And I'm sure Boakio Sitsonpyeong will be back on his feet within the next couple of weeks, ready to go at it yet again. I believe that was it for that particular card that I wanted to go over. No. There was actually two other fights that were worth mentioning. At Rajadamnern, Dodo Kor Kampanat stopped Dete Lukbenmai via knees in a very, very, very brutal bout. It got stopped by the ref mercifully, very mercifully. The punishment that Dete Lukbenmai took in the clinch to his sternum chest area, I don't even want to think about it. Then you also had Chatpetsor Polsawat, yeah. That's what I believe its name is. KOing Densayam Sorpet Udan. Right hand KO with the kick catch. But I'm telling you right now, when he went for the trip throw off of the punch, right? Like, I think the punch kind of tripped him over. What really knocked him out is the recoil from hitting the mat. I saw his head bounce. Boom, boom, you know what I mean? And that's what I think did him in, not the punch. So that's what I thought was worth mentioning with that. TV7 main event, Super Jang Sor Saman Garmant. Yes, Super Jang Sor Saman Garmant, who is the Lumpini Bantamweight champion, went into the TV7 stadium to take on Sapphire PK Saenchai Gem, who I believe is the TV7 Bantamweight champion, and they fought to a draw. I haven't got to see the whole entire fight yet, just some highlights. But in typical TV Channel 7 stadium fashion, I'm sure it was a raucous fight. If you never get the chance to visit, the way the crowd is like on top of you in that place, and and since admission is free, you know, it's standing room only. Like, the one time I got there, as a matter of fact, I had no seat. I had to stand in the hallway, and it was a little bit packed. So it was pretty much at capacity, which I'm sure it probably is every Sunday, because it's a free show. And because of that, the audience is frenzied, right? Because it's high gambling. I mean, if you go back to one of my earlier episodes, I talk about how wild it was seeing kids running money under the bleachers. But yeah, that energy there definitely, I think, fuels the fighters to perform the way they perform. Because even at Max and MX Extreme and a couple other places where they really, really, really try to encourage action, and they do get action, you don't really need to do that too much at TV7, except for maybe in the 5th round when some guys want to take it off when they know they got it in the bag, which I understand. But aside from that, you don't really need to push action. They come out very aggressive, and I believe it's because the crowd's energy. They feed off of it. Okay, I'm going to go over the KOs of the week before I go into the future things and my opinion on last night's MMA action. Rajadamnern KO of the week, got to go with Simeon Sitchepumtam's elbow KO over Boakio Sitsonpyeong, just because it was champion versus champion. Although the Dodo Kor Kampanat, strong contender for the Rajadamnern KO. Lumpini KO of the week, Pet Dom, don't know the gym name, not the Pet Shindi guy. Got a brutal knee to the liver KO over a fella named One Halak. Other KOs worth of mention, not at the big two. Cow Cry, down elbow KO of Surmit at Rangsit Stadium. Oh my goodness gracious. Bam! Oh. Boy. Beautiful elbow KO. Then also Toto, sorry, no gym names, got up elbow on Rungtawa at Amnoi. Very, very brutal. Now, things I wanted to mention about the future. One of my favorite fighters, Roteng Jitmunyang, is getting a rematch with Mongkang Kyu from the 72nd anniversary show, in which he lost a barn burner of a decision. I mean, a barn burner of a decision. It was an awesome fight. This rematch is going to be no fucking different. Wow. And it takes place February 26, 2018. But what's really shocking about that is Roteng Jitmunyang is going to be fighting on February 8th, 2018 against Petdam Gayang Dao Jim, also the Petchindi Academy. This is why I have so much respect and admiration for the Thai fighter, because of that type of schedule. But also on that card that Roteng fights Petdam, it's a Jitmunyang promotion, and dude, that card is stacked and it's on February 8th, 2018. Also on that card, you have Nung Renglek Jitmunyang fighting Pan Payak Set Shupung Tam, or the phony Pan Payak, so I'm imagining Nung Renglek is going to be extra motivated. I'm full of shit, I don't know anything. Rotlek making his return to the Big Two Stadiums versus Extra. It's a big deal to me because I got to watch Rotlek in the main event when I was at Rajadamnern Stadium way back in February of 2017 against Sexkan, who has just been killing it since then. So let's see how he returns. Ronachai, Santa Yuban, and Yoten FA Group. That is going to be a hell of a fight right there, with big repercussions as far as rankings go at both stadiums, I'm sure. Sam D. Petchindi is going to be taking Pruapak Sorjor Vitpuru. Sorry about the pronunciation on that. But Sam D. Pruapak, that's also going to be a huge fight with major repercussions on the rankings at both stadiums. Another thing I wanted to go over was Top Kings International shows. I noticed that Yaglek Pet is still on the card, but Sangnami is not. I hope he isn't injured or facing some other dilemma, and there's something else going on to why he's not on that card that I thought he was on. Yowicha Porbun said is still headlining it, and I'm not surprised. He'll be part of a four-man tournament that I fully expect him to dominate. Because again, if you're a top tier Thai boxer in the major stadiums, and when I say top tier, I'm talking about guys like Saenchai and Balkow, guys like that were like, you know, not necessarily champions, but very proven. The international fight scene is not that difficult. I mean, there's a few guys on the international scene that aren't Thai that definitely represent the Pincha brothers, the current guys in Bangkok right now, your Chad Collins, your Rafi Bohik, your Yusuf Bronheim, or however you pronounce that guy's name, sorry, and a few others. But, I mean, literally less than a dozen. I'm pretty sure that you're going to see give Thai's troubles in their regular weight classes. And I want to accentuate regular weight classes, because really, after 150, it's hard for me to imagine an in-shape Thai fighting. But, you know, I'm sure it'll be coming. Guys are getting bigger, and so on. And I should say over 160, not 150. 160. Yeah, 160. I digress. Let me move on to one other announcement. Tirchai is going to be fighting for the WBA welterweight boxing title against Lucas Matisse this coming weekend. I believe Saturday. I'm going to be watching that. I always root for Thais. I feel like the ones that transition into boxing always do well, because guarantee you Tirchai has fought Muay Thai. He's going to be tougher than the regular boxer. That's just my opinion, and that's why I think they're doing so well, as evidenced by Sirsakret Sora. Man, I don't want to butcher his name, but the dude that beat Chocolito twice. All right, MMA results from last night. First, let me do the Bellator ones. Michael Chandler beat the I forget the Japanese fellow's name. Pretty good fighter. He actually had some moments in that fight, but I was not surprised that he just got manhandled in typical American style ground and pound. Nothing really special. What I wanted to go over is Rory McDonald, Douglas Lima. I really feel like Douglas Lima was robbed. And I can say this with confidence because I watched that fight very closely as I had the UFC and Bellator kind of split screen to where I could kind of do this and do that and get good attention. And Roy and Douglas's fight was coming on during two guys that fought on UFC that I wasn't really familiar with, and I don't even remember their names right now, and I apologize to those two guys. So Lima and Rory McDonald got my full attention. I'm having a hard time giving Rory McDonald any round on a clear-cut basis. There's a couple rounds where you can make the argument that I would buy into and agree with that he won those rounds. But aside from that, I thought Douglas Lima kind of dominated Rory McDonald. First with his jab, which surprised the hell out of me. I thought if anything, Rory McDonald would be controlling the jab distance, but no. And he wore the marks of it afterwards. I've never seen his face so lumped up, and that's including the Robbie Lawler fight. I mean, yeah, his nose got caved in, but I'm talking about the totality of the face. It was just, he did not look like the same person anymore at the end of that fight. He looked like a totally different person with the way the trauma that his face endured from the jabs and many other things. I thought Douglas Lima was incredibly impressive when they did go to the ground, either stalemating things or the one time I believe is the third round where he turned one of Rory McDonald's kind of lackluster takedown attempts throughout the fight. He turned one of those around, secured mount position, and just started. I thought he was real close to ending the fight during that round. I believe it was the third. But yeah, I can't believe Rory McDonald got the decision. I almost feel like there's conspiracy afoot. There's money behind the white guy. And I don't think it's that. I think it's more because he's an established name. But I feel like Douglas Lima beat him. And if he doesn't get an immediate rematch, I'd be shocked. In the main event of that show, I didn't watch too much because it was not very engaging. It was Rampage and Chael Sonnen. Rampage is looking incredibly out of shape. Heavyweight does not suit him because it makes him very lazy, I think. And Chael Sonnen took advantage of that. From everything I could tell, he was just much more aggressive, hustling throughout the fight, dominating position. Every time I looked over, he had him down, and he was in dominant position. And in the stand-up, I thought he was a lot more polished. And quite honestly, looks like he's been still working on his game, whereas Rampage looks like he doesn't necessarily work on his game. Now, to the big UFC one, I'm just going to go over the two main fights. DC just looked absolutely phenomenal. If your name is not John Jones, you're not beating him. And talk of him going to heavyweight, we'll see. I don't know. I don't care. Either way is fine with me. Although there really is nothing left for him at 205, I don't think, except for another fight with Alexander Gustafsson, which would be a good fight, but I think he'll beat him again. Then the main event. Stipe and Francis Ngannou. Stipe Miocic, Francis Ngannou. Francis Ngannou came in with all his hype and stuff. You know, it's like his punch was measured to have the same type of force as a Ford Escort moving at full speed or some such bullshit. It's not bullshit, it's facts or whatever. They measured it. Whatever. Dude can't get a Ford Escort off of his chest. Let alone a 240-pound man. And it cost him dearly last night. Stipe Miocic was able to weather the danger, because there was definitely some danger, and show why in the MMA game, if you can't grapple, you can't win. Period. If you don't know how to get off of your back, or better yet, not get put on your back, and I'm not necessarily saying not get taken down, because you can get taken down and not be flat on your back if you're diligent, if you're working, right? Am I right? I'm pretty sure I'm right. So if you don't know how to do those type of things, you got no business being a champion in that sport. And until Francis Ngannou learns how to do those things, he will never be a champion in this sport. I mean, if you can't stop a wrestler from taking you down, how are you gonna knock him out? Right? I mean, it sounds so easy to the layman that's never fucking grappled before. But a guy that knows how to hold you down and control you is not something to be taken lightly or put aside. It is crucial in a all rules type of fight. Crucial. And Stipe Miocic gave a clinic on why that is the case last night. Okay, I think I've gone on long enough for this particular episode, and I'll see y'all later.